I can hear you on the speaker, switching to AirPods. All right, say something.
Hello, sexy.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 30 of 2022. I'm Chris Louie, and not looking forward to a monkeypox vaccine if things start to get out of hand. We hope you enjoyed last week's special episode, but we are ready to get things back into gear with a serious episode number 70. With me, I have Brian Deach, who treats every episode as a special episode.
Chris, you freaking fearmonger, unless I'm out of the loop here, but I thought monkeypox isn't even a thing anymore. Is that true? Or am I off base? Is it flaring back up?
It is. There's the mass vaccination clinics for that now.
Okay, but is anyone actually getting it?
I don't think there's that many. I think there's 300 people in California that caught it. So not yet, but it's got to start somewhere.
I heard it started at Arby's. So just avoid Arby's, guys.
We have the meat.
And the pox, the monkeypox.
And we have Glenn Medina. Where are you broadcasting from this week?
Hey everyone, happy to be here for the podcast. I'm home, and I've been working on my tan all week. It's been hard to do, but someone's got to do it. And like I said, I've been sending pictures to both Chris, Brian, and Todd here for quite some time of my lovely pictures of drinking in the backyard next to the pool. So hope you guys are jealous.
He even got those hard to reach areas underneath his hooves.
Thanks, Brian.
And the bottom of your hands.
I gotta tan naked now in the backyard, so I can.
There's a sight to see.
Nothing wrong with that.
There you go.
All right. Well, this
episode 71. Glenn arrested for public nudity.
Public indecency.
In his own backyard.
In his own backyard.
Well, that's when Brian's gonna fly his drone up there and try to get some aerial footage of that.
It'd be awesome.
Don't judge me.
All right. Well, this week's guest is Isaiah Talado. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary here at Zscaler. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So I'm a technical account manager here at Zscaler. My background is in security, compliance, networking, including data center and worldwide infrastructure projects and deployments. I had the chance to be in close contact with Zscaler since 2010 as a customer, and by the time driving the major migration to ZA. I can tell a thing or two in, let's say, in IT and everything that I work with, because I've seen a thing or two during my journey so far. I enjoy quality time, quality family time, meaning no kids fighting and yelling while destroying the house. I like to camp with the boys, wife, and Mr. Fluffy, my pet Shih Tzu. I also am a tech geek. I enjoy audio, video setup and working with that, and also a car, motorcycle guy.
I'm seeing a little hint of an accent. Are you from Georgia?
Yeah, close to that. A little bit more south.
Ah, dang it. Get it wrong every single time.
Yeah.
Georgia, the country?
Yeah, I'm originally
Canadian.
Forgot to mention, I'm originally from Brazil, so moved over to the US about 12 years ago. And living
All right,
living in hot sunny Arizona now.
What is the best country in the world?
USA.
It is. Oh, look at that. All right. Well, we had someone from Canada the other day. They're like, "No, man, it's Canada." I'm like, I don't know. We had to arm wrestle that one out. So, all right. Yeah. Welcome to the U.S., baby.
Thank you.
Agree to disagree.
What, you disagree that the U.S. is the greatest place to live?
No, with Dan when he said Canada was the best country. And I guess we could agree to disagree on that one.
Amen.
No, I would just disagree with him.
It's okay.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience and are here not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for you this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'd like to take a moment to remember a colleague of ours who recently passed away unexpectedly. It's never easy losing someone you worked with, and you will be missed, Mike.
Yeah, Mike was the homie.
He was.
No doubt.
for our opening topic. Well, Prime Day came and went without much fanfare this year. Last year we talked about TWU, things we won't use. What was in your guys' Prime Day haul this year?
So I was in Cancun. Yeah, I didn't get anything. I was in Cancun. I completely forgot that was even there. I think Chris sent me one link for something, and I was like, I'll get back to it later. The beach is too pretty right now.
And then the sale was over when you went back to it.
No, I just never went back to it.
I don't think he opened
What did you
laptop.
send me? Do you remember?
PC parts.
Oh, yeah. I was supposed to do that, but
Yeah,
maybe
kids.
I'll save $32 some other day.
I got a mouse pad for my daughter. What else did I get?
She didn't want a PEBCAK mouse pad?
Not the big one. You got small ones? And I'm not going to
Put
get that
logo
one.
on whatever you want.
That one lights up everywhere, so that's pretty cool. No, I got her a mouse pad.
Oh, Glenn's frozen.
I think we lost him.
Hey guys, I don't want a mouse pad. I just want a real life mouse. Those would be cool and rad. I work for a subpar security company with crappy internet.
All right, we lost you there for a minute, Glenn, and Brian was indeed mocking you, so you're going to have to listen to the episode when it comes out to see what he said about you.
Yeah, I know. It's always the case. I'm still looking for a pool cleaner, a vacuum pool cleaner. So yeah, I'm not very happy right now because I could have swore they were a lot more expensive this past 2 Prime days than anything else. Yeah.
But you, Isaiah, did you buy anything this year?
Not
Things
much.
we won't use.
Yeah, exactly. That was my mentality, so I avoid unnecessary purchases this year. My wife works for Amazon, so I'll kind of,
Oh, it's Prime Day every day in the Colada household.
Exactly, yeah.
So what do you get for working at Amazon? Do you get like 50% off all stuff?
You wish. They are super cheap on that. And they give you like $100 a year, and that thing, it's like a discount on things sold and shipped by Amazon and up to 10% of the amount of the purchase. So if you buy something that costs $1,000, it's $100 discount. That's it. You use your quota for the year. If you buy something that costs $10, they're gonna give you $1 discount. That's it. That's what you get.
Wow. You don't even get free Prime. None of that stuff.
Nope. That was my question number one. As soon as she got the job, I said, "What? Are we getting free Prime?" No.
Free Prime, Whole Foods. Nope.
That's how the rich gets richer, man. That's how it works.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Bezos didn't get to be the richest man on the planet by handing out free Prime.
Exactly.
I know. He's like, $100. He's like, I can only afford to have 12 yachts, guys. Jesus.
Think of the yachts. Think of the yachts. For me, I bought a set of masonry bits. I might have some home improvement projects that's going to require me to drill into stucco or cement. So I got some masonry bits for 50% off, but that was about it. I was thinking of getting the new Kindle, like the e-paper Kindle. I'm like, well, there's nothing really wrong with my old one. And the new one has, I think it's just bigger screen, better contrast, auto-adjusting light. But it's like, at the end of the day, I don't really need a new one. I'll live with my current one until it dies.
Especially since you have an iPad.
Chris, what kind of drill do you have?
Yeah.
What kind of drill do I have? I have a DeWalt.
Yeah. All right. Doesn't it really knock you hard if you're like, yeah, Black & Decker.
Black & Decker.
This thing. Yeah. All right. Guess I can't tease you on that.
No,
Glenn's all hiding his Black & Decker stuff.
Hold on. Did you get some cheap drill bits that weren't Black & Decker? That were Black & Decker? What'd you get, Chris? Some knockoffs?
So I got Makita drill bits. So I'm using Makita drill bits in a DeWalt drill.
There you go.
So it's like, pouring Coca-Cola in a Pepsi glass sort of thing.
On that note, sadly, I can't, ever since COVID, both Coke and Pepsi taste like this diarrhea to me. Hate it. It's no good anymore. Diet
Not
Coke,
necessarily a bad
not
thing.
too bad.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to remember to swap them both out for diarrhea the next time we chat.
Next time we meet.
Maybe you can't tell the difference anyway.
Yeah, I just stay away. Give me a tea, guys.
Which preview, possibly for a future episode in the near future, we might be seeing each other. Hint, hint.
We will be. I will be, for sure.
Yeah, well, pending any of us getting the vid or monkeypox or travel getting canceled, we'll have to see.
Even if I have it, I'm going. I don't even care.
Super spreader.
Yeah, just kidding. I'm just kidding, government that's listening. I'm immune anyways.
No fly list Deech.
That's it.
No fly list Louis and Medina, but not Deech. Deech good fly.
I don't know if you noticed, but I put on a lot of miles these last couple months. So
I'm I'm literally in the same boat as you. So I got Chicago tomorrow. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna tell everyone my schedule. Come try to rob me.
Just please rob me,
guys. If anyone sees
the wife and kids are armed and dangerous.
If anyone sees them at the airport, sees Deech at the airport, please remember to wash your hands if you're in the bathroom with him.
Wash your hands unless you want to get called out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for our first topic, since we missed an entire week of InfoSec news due to the episode 69 special, we are behind on this story that was widely reported in the InfoSec community and infuriated security professionals all over the world. We did not report on this story when it first broke because it already got a lot of mainstream media attention, but now there's a twist. Earlier this year, Microsoft announced that they would be disabling VBA macros by default for Office documents that originated from the web. These documents received something called the mark of the web, so internally created documents with macros would not be affected, but all of those infected documents downloaded from the web or through email would have macros blocked by default after 25 plus years of being enabled by default. This caused a rare moment of praise for Microsoft from the InfoSec community and could not come soon enough. Well, after just 2 months of blocking macros by default, you guessed it, Microsoft rolled back the change and they will be enabled by default again. This led to an extreme backlash against Microsoft because what they were doing was actually working. Organizations tracking APT crews, ransomware crews, and the like saw a noticeable drop in macro-related malware, and the development of new exploits completely halted because this would no longer be a viable attack vector. Shame on you, Microsoft. Microsoft officially said this rollback is temporary and they plan to disable it sometime in the future, but offered little detail on that. And whoever's been purple said, "I'm Ron Burgundy."
I was just curious if you just keep. Yeah, I was curious if you just blatantly read whatever we put in there. I'm shocked that they did this. Like, there must be like a bunch of mom and pop shops that are like, man, our accounting stuff doesn't work in Excel anymore because of you guys. I have no idea why they would have.
I can imagine
taken off this awesome idea.
Take it even higher than that, Breach. I bet you a bunch of their own internal Word documents stopped working, and they couldn't figure out how to use them.
Yeah, my best guess is some very high-paying customer, maybe a chocolate confectioner manufacturer, maybe a DoD contract, maybe 100,000 user organization, complained and said, "This is totally breaking our workflows. You got to turn it on now, or we're canceling." And then Microsoft caved in. That's my guess on what happened.
Or maybe, yeah, you're right. It's probably that. I didn't think it's something like smart butt to say, but I got nothing. Zaya, what do you think? What happened here? You have the inside scoop. You're TAM. You know everything. Tell us what you detected at Zscaler being a TAM with your disabled VBA macros.
Absolutely.
Go.
Yeah. I'll totally do that.
And if anybody doesn't know what a TAM is, for our audiences that don't work at Zscaler or in the field, Isaiah is a technical account manager responsible for the relationship from a technical standpoint within the accounts, right? In the accounts that he serves. Is that right, Isaiah? Did I say that?
That's correct, Glenn. Yeah.
Yeah,
Arguably.
Yeah, go ahead.
Arguably the worst job to have, in my opinion, because you catch some heat, brother.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
For sure. I have to get the, screaming customers, frustrations, and things like that. And but it's a lot of fun on the battlefield, so it's a good gig.
So did you get it?
Actually, the only worst job would be a TAM at Microsoft that had to field the calls about their VBA scripts being disabled.
I can only imagine Isaiah getting a call on this. It's like, hey, it's because of Zscaler that my macros aren't working.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't installed Zscaler. Now everything's not working anymore.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my check engine light came on. This Zscaler stuff is BS. Like, we're not in your car, brother. We're not in the car.
Yet.
What? yet. So Isaiah, what is the craziest thing? And don't name drop any customers, but what is like the craziest thing that they pointed the finger at, at you, and you're like, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense at all?
Yeah, I can mention something like funny, and I was actually helping someone else, customer complaining of, I'm trying to load this ISO image, and Zscaler is not, it's causing some issues here on the mix. And I happened to realize that he was trying to pretty much upload the gig plus ISO image inside a data center through ZPA. And I just told this fellow tenant, hey, you're not supposed to do that. You copy the ISO image to inside your data center, and from there you connect from home to your IPMI, and then you kind of load the image. But he was trying to do that, and he was not understanding why it's failing. I think there's a lot of things in the mix, because there's your internet connectivity that goes to the broker, it goes to your application connector, it goes to the data center. So it's not the ideal scenario to do something crazy like that. So that was one of the things. Other things like complaining about speed. I hired like 10 gigabits at my home. Why are only seeing like 300 megs? That's absurd. Zscaler is like, screw me up. So that's the type of things that we need to go through and explain, and go into the details where the actually factors that contribute to different speeds and best practices around how the customers need to operate with the solutions.
All I heard is someone has 10 gig internet at home, and I'm jealous.
Yeah. How do you get that? I can barely get one.
Well, for the right price, you can get it.
Exactly.
I know someone that works here that has 10 gig internet at home.
Some places you can't get 10 gig.
1 gig fiber backup.
Yeah.
Does his name rhyme with Boxhoven?
For the right price, they'll roll 10 gig fiber to you. Like I said, money can fix all these issues.
That's pretty cool.
All right, and speaking of money can fix all issues, for our second topic, an Avaya systems administrator has been accused of stealing $88 million worth of Avaya VoIP licenses. The SysAdmin started generating license for Avaya VoIP products using internal tools and then reselling them at steep discounts through a shady reseller. So for those of you who don't know, Avaya is a IP telephony company. They make video conferencing services, phone conferencing service. They make soft phones and the like, and VoIP is voice over IP. The sysadmin took measures to hide his tracks and steal account credentials of other sysadmins to continue the scam and make it harder for Avaya to figure out who was behind the scam. These are not just software-generated license keys. The licenses are loaded onto an SD card, burned in with a unique serial number, and physically shipped to the customer who needs to plug the SD card in to activate the licenses. This was a very well thought out plan, but the law finally caught up with him. As we know on this podcast, crime does not pay, and the sysadmin is facing years of jail time.
$88 million, though. How much did he actually take? Did he make $88 million?
No, so those are the damages Avaya claims they suffered, because if he had sold the licenses at full retail, it would have been $88 million, but he sold it at a steep discount. So even 99% off, he still made off with $8.8 million.
Is
that enough, Brian?
Yeah, we're getting really close. How much time is he gonna face of jail time? Like that's my type. Like that is like zero effort type of scamming the system right there. But $88 million, that's probably like list price. Like ain't nobody spending $88 million worth of Avaya.
Yeah, even real customers don't spend. List price, right?
$88 million. Yeah.
On any.
Who's the shady reseller?
Some no-name partner. It wasn't like one of the national resellers. It was just some no-name partner that they sold to.
That he had.
You would think they'd be like Avaya's partner of the year if they're selling $88 million worth of licenses. It's just this tiny reseller.
Was he also the president of the shady reseller?
I think he was asking customers to pay with like Google Store or Apple cards,
That's true, yeah. So it was.
Oh my god!
Just go to a Target, buy me a iTunes card, and pay for this license here.
All right, never mind. No, this wasn't worth it.
You don't want a 100-year subscription to Apple TV Plus, Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You can't monetize that. That's insane.
He was also
Bitcoin. Jesus.
He was also taking like PayPal, and he routed it through some accounts and through bank accounts, and I'm sure there's some wire fraud and money laundering charges in there as well. Like,
do you think the customer knew?
Oh yeah. Like, when would you buy an enterprise grade license using PayPal or iTunes gift cards?
So are they culpable here as well? Is culpable the right word to even use?
You could probably plead the Shaggy defense on this one. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It wasn't me. I went through the reseller. I signed. I got my phone licenses, and I'm done. Right? So does my phone system work? Yeah. That's pretty it.
I don't know how hard they'll go after the customers, because I mean, receiving stolen property is a crime. Like if I buy a stereo out of the back of a white van and it's 99% off retail, like, yeah, you should have known this was stolen or something was wrong, and you are culpable if that happened. So if the law wanted to go after them, I'm sure they could, but I think they want to just make an example of this guy.
Is this considered like white collar crime?
Definitely.
Yeah.
But think about like this, like, like let's say they don't say anything to the customer, right? And they just like the renewal comes through. It's like, hey, last year it was $8,000, but this year it's $800,000. They'd be like, what the hell, man? Why is my renewal so high? Is it what were you putting up on your
I'm just
screen?
saying,
You're choking?
Joking on the on the gift cards thing.
Oh no, that's not funny.
Oh, you were.
If you didn't say it, I was going to. Don't worry about it, Isaiah. We don't mess around on this show.
I believed you, man. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, they did ask for like payment in PayPal and stuff.
Yeah.
So there was a complicated web of bank accounts and money laundering. I'm sure that's not going to help his case and won't help him plead the Shaggy defense.
Is the reseller in trouble too?
Oh, I'm sure.
Co-defendants.
I bet they're going to arrest the reseller, and then they're going to turn him into state's evidence, and he'll testify against the SysAdmin.
Do you think this guy was like, hey, you remember that story about Kevin Mitnick and he got hired to work for the government? I don't know. Did he ever work for the government once he stopped doing his thing? Think of it like
I'm pretty sure he did.
Like, I'm going to be a contractor. You imagine this guy's like, hey, I got a plea agreement for you. How about I go work for the CIA? They're like, dude, you're just stealing licenses. There's really nothing sexy about this. We don't want you over here. I bet you tried that. I would have.
Yeah, nothing clandestine about just generating licenses and accepting PayPal payment for them. Yeah, if it was something more clever that had applicable skills in, offensive security, because offensive security is so hot right now, they might turn him. But no, they're going to make an example of this guy. You don't steal from these multi-million-dollar companies.
Well,
you know who's really good at safeguarding their keys was F5. Like, you could generate like dev licenses that were good for like 30 days, but it was impossible to generate a production license, even get your hands on it. Like, there'd be hell to be paid. Like, I think it was like all, and same thing even like I've heard with like Palo Alto. Like, you can't even generate like an eval license without there like being an SFDC opportunity there tied to it as well.
So according this,
but this guy was the SysAdmin though. So he probably was. It was probably the fox guarding the hen house. I'm sure.
It was 3 people indicted. It was Dusty Pierce, and then the reseller and the reseller's wife out of Oklahoma. Yeah. Pretty funny.
Even half of that $8.8 million can buy you a lot of stuff and land in Oklahoma.
Yeah. I was trying to look for this guy's LinkedIn, but I don't think he's no longer there.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Imagine that.
Oh, speaking of LinkedIn, you know who got out of jail is Martin Shkreli. And I've been trying to connect with him on LinkedIn because our buddy Zoltan is friends with him on LinkedIn. So I thought maybe now he's out of jail, he might accept my LinkedIn invite. But so far, no.
What a jerk. If you're listening, dude, accept the friend request.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Accept the friend request and come on the pod, right? On the podcast.
There you go.
Yeah. Heck, go to Black Hat. I'll buy you a beer.
There you go.
Unless you're not allowed to have beer. I'll buy you a
Shirley
Pepsi and
Temple.
a Coke.
Yeah.
Shirley Temple. Not that I'm going to Black Hat or DEF CON, just saying.
All right. For our third topic, we have some good news in the InfoSec world. PyPi, the maintainers of Python and the most popular projects, have now mandated multi-factor authentication for projects they deem as critical. A critical project is that one that which falls in the top 1% of downloaded libraries. Forcing MFA is their way to help stop supply chain attacks where hackers inject malicious code into a popular library and poison the upstream software. PyPi is even sending out 4,000 Google Titan hardware keys to the developers to help facilitate the change. And Google Titan hardware keys are very similar to YubiKeys. They're not one and the same, but very similar to that. It's a USB key. You have to have it plugged in. Proof of something you have and proof of presence. You have to tap the key, just like a YubiKey.
Similar in the same way. I got it.
Exactly. Well, there's always someone that has to go against the grain. There's a popular library that was deemed critical, but the developer didn't like that PyPi was forcing MFA on him, so he deleted the library, then re-uploaded it under a new account so that would no longer be considered critical. That's pretty clever on one hand, but on the other hand, that's a crappy thing to do, knowing so many people rely on your library. Just like that XKCD comment that the entire software ecosystem or the internet relies on some open source project maintained by one developer that doesn't get paid enough to maintain it.
Do we know what the library was?
Yeah, I could look it up. I didn't recognize it, but I'm also not a Python user.
It's probably Wink API. That's what happened. For those of you listening, I used to have Wink at my house until it was down for like the last 20 days, and I decided to jump ship. And I don't understand. Like, I was trying to explain it to my wife and kids. I'm like, it doesn't matter what the change was. Like, it's very easy to roll back. It doesn't take 20 days, maybe a couple days, but not 20. Right? This is something insane's going on.
Counting,
I think they got hit with ransomware.
And counting.
And counting. Yeah, I think it's still down.
So you think they sent like a picture of the guys to the ransomware guy and probably lost all their files? Just like
told them we're not paying.
Much.
Yeah, that was that.
They're probably like, we're not going to pay you even one Bitcoin. Like, literally, like we're dying here. We don't even have enough people we can't even pay our employees. And we only charge $5.99 or $4.99 a month for our API. And oh, by the way, the API login URL is actually down, and it's been down for like a year, and we don't have the cycles to even get that up and running. So,
just sounds like a company circling the drain at that point.
Definitely.
If they haven't gone down the drain already, I mean, holy cow!
Yeah,
they will be after this last fiasco. Heck, yeah. Even the developer URL is down. Like, it's just they completely even yanked the DNS record from that.
All right, so the PyPi project is Atomic Rights, and that gets about 6 million downloads per month. And that's the guy that yanked his repository and then re-uploaded it, so he wasn't considered critical anymore.
All right, what does it do?
All these questions, Brian, all these questions. What do you guys do? Do you dabble at all in Python?
No.
Back in, yeah, definitely have done a lot of stuff in Python in the past. But not one that's ever, even to this day, that would require MFA. It's called Atomic Pi, or Atomic Rights?
Yeah, it's called Atomic Rights. One word.
Yeah, you lost me at Pi.
Oh, look at that. All financial and banking systems run a version of Atomic Rights. Just kidding.
I would have believed it if you said it and if you didn't say just kidding. It's quite possible that all these backend systems use some obscure open source project that's being maintained by one disgruntled developer.
It is the backbone to BGP. What?
It's like, oh, that explains a lot.
DNS fundamentals are all built upon Atomic. Oh, God. Just kidding.
All right, for our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week. This week, we're going to stick with our theme of tech, and here's a story that will make you collectively roll your eyes and say, really? Phone carriers are considering a plan to show rotating ads on smartphone lock screens. It's common in the developing world, and less so but still present in the developed world, that Android smartphones come preloaded with bloatware apps like Facebook and Uber. Those companies pay the handset makers to preload these apps and have no way of uninstalling them in an attempt to sign up new users. The idea is when the phone is locked, advertisers have a very captive audience because you will see the ad when attempting to unlock your phone, or imagine some kind of dystopia where you have to watch a 15-second ad to unlock your phone just like it's a YouTube video. This will obviously never fly in an iPhone, but very scary in the direction we are going.
This reminds me of that Kindle you were talking about, Chris. You can buy the ad free or the ones with ads, like, and then it's a difference of what, $20 sometimes.
Yeah, that I don't mind so much because a Kindle it doesn't gate you from doing it, and then there's a social contract trade-off that I agree to watch these ads in exchange for a discounted price. But a smartphone, that's something you pick up. Average person picks up their smartphone 160, 170 times a day. That can get annoying real fast, real quick.
Yeah, try putting an ad on one of those little alphanumeric phones, the little flip ones.
The flip phones, yeah.
There's a will, there's a way. This reminds me, I think it was a Family Guy episode. It's like talking about the inevitable. And it's like sexy with Colby Bryant. You can kick and scream all you want, but it's still gonna happen. And I know it's terrible, but it was really funny at the time. But yeah, I was thinking about this, a very similar thing. Not gonna have to watch YouTube ads, but at some point in time, I think the federal government is gonna look at all these smart cars and be like, wait a second. It'd be pretty rad if we just get all of Chris's and Brian's and Isaiah's and Glenn's driving history, and every time they just kind of cruise through a stop sign or make a right on red, how about we just pull that information and then just send a bill, right? You owe us $17.98 for driving like a poor human being. I think it will eventually happen.
What?
Some law will get passed and our information will have to get shared, and that will eventually become our...
They did try to start doing that. They start doing that though, right? They started putting red light cameras in towns and locations, and then some of them have been very successful and been there forever, and giving red light tickets to a bunch of people that own the cars, and still they realized that some of those cars, I guess there was an argument that hey, it wasn't me, I'm the registered owner, but that wasn't me that was driving the car at that time, and so that I think that's been put into some of the court systems, and the courts have gone, validate who it is that's inside there that's driving the car.
Dude, so I have many vehicles, but my daughter was driving a car that's registered to just me. She ran a red light, and the ticket came to her, even though the car is registered in my name.
Wow.
The facial recognition software was amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They could pull it from the DMV database or something.
I tell you how that works.
Yeah.
They were like,
right,
this
Arizona,
person's got hair. This person's got hair. It's not Brian. There's no way.
There's no way. Yeah.
The head's too shiny. It's not Brian.
Yeah.
Or the head's not shiny
That is
enough.
amazing, though. Now, Brian, that is really cool. Right?
It is, right? I mean, it wasn't cool for her. She had to do driver's school and all that good stuff. I got hit with a red light camera, but I was going so fast that I don't think they were able to capture the presence of Deech. I don't know what happened. I saw it flash. I was like, oh, there's no way. This is a 25 mile an hour zone. And I was going 90.
Yeah.
I don't think it was calibrated to even work. I thought for sure they got me, but 6 months went by, nothing in the mail.
Nice. And watch what show up
Ladies
tomorrow.
and gentlemen, we have a felon on this podcast.
Our first ever.
No, I've had you on here for a while, buddy. I don't think that's criminal. It's not a felony.
That's true. So
20 over is only felony. Or
I
not
was,
a felony, it's a
I was
criminal.
visiting one of my old college roommates out at ASU, and then we did the drive up to the Grand Canyon, and he got nabbed. He was driving. We rented a red Camaro, so you can imagine a red Camaro going very fast on that freeway. Of course, that's going to be cop bait. And then, the police officer pulled us over, and now he has a criminal record because apparently it's a misdemeanor. Speeding at that speed in Arizona is a misdemeanor.
Yeah, they can arrest you and impound your car if they wanted to. Normally, they're pretty cool about stuff, but yeah, they can be a jerk.
So I'll give you a little hint on what we used to do in Germany back in the days when I was in the military. So in Germany, they have a lot of these red light cameras, very prevalent everywhere, right? And they also have speed traps with these red light cameras. Well, it's very common for soldiers to rotate in and out of the military base. And when they do, they sell their car, right? And when they sell their car, they're pretty much, they're out of there, right? They're going back home, not to return, right? So a lot of them were like, hey, let's jump in the car, and go ahead and run a whole bunch of red lights, and they'll do crazy things like moon the camera from the front seat.
Of course, as you would.
They'll hang out the cars, full hoodie, can't see anything but their face, and they're doing, we're just doing all kinds of childish and moronic things at that age. But it's quite fun, and I can't tell you how many times I've done it, but it's quite a bit, and I've never followed up with anyone to see if they've ever gotten a ticket or if those tickets have ever traced them back to the U.S., but it's truly a fun thing to do.
How many speeding tickets have you guys had?
I got one.
0.
During my all-time U.S., just one.
So I've had so many speeding tickets that I almost lost my license. But what I had discovered is that I lived in a small town, and that's the only thing they had better to do was just pull over teenage kids and just give us tickets to be jerks. Because when I moved from this small town I grew up in to down here in the valley, and people are like, you got a speeding ticket? Like, how fast are you going? I was like, yeah, I was 11 over. They're like, what are you talking about? Like I drive 20 over all the time. And it has something to do with proximity, right? Like the small towns, they just love to nab you up. Like they're just bored or something. Yeah. I don't have any, I have zero. I have zero friends. Number one, I have no friends. But of the friends that I actually do have that live down here, ain't none of them ever get tickets.
Oh, wow. Have you had any in the last 5 to 10 years?
No, since I left that small town, I think I had one speeding ticket where I was moving like on the freeway, and I just blew by like this cop, and he gave it to me, but it was no big deal. Since then, nothing. But if I go to that small town, man, I am paying attention because I go back every once in a while.
Your face is on that wanted poster at the police station.
You're getting arrested,
like,
Brian.
Pull this guy over.
Brian's getting arrested.
Yeah. You're going to come and get me. I don't mess around with small towns anymore. I go to the speed limit.
How about you, Isaiah?
Or Glenn?
I just got one ticket. It was stupid. Not even driving my car, and just got a rental, and was getting ready to go to work and then start driving. As soon as I turned the corner nearby here, there was a motorcycle cop, and they are there just for whatever. Once you hit 1 mile over the speed limit, that they're gonna just pull you over and give a ticket. So I knew just say, yeah, okay, fine, and just did the online class, and that's it.
So I'm an expert at this. So 1 mile, anything below 10, you shouldn't even you just pay the fine because it doesn't even get reported to insurance. 10 or 11 and over does. So you should have saved that get out of jail free card. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, get out of jail free card on an actual speeding ticket. So shame on you.
Yeah.
Going back to our story here, do you think Apple would ever do this? They throw ads on our phones?
No, never. Their margins are so high on their phone, they don't need to do this. Like, this is usually to subsidize Android phones so that people can afford them. If you're buying an iPhone, you can afford an iPhone. Apple's not going to go down that route. They'd rather cheapen the product than put ads on it.
I would never say never. I don't know if you guys saw, but BMW was thinking about to charge a monthly fee for this the heating on the seats.
Heated seats.
Yeah, for the heated seats.
Absurd.
So I don't know. There's a lot of craziness going on.
Well, Tesla's charging, you can subsidize the Copilot now, or the autopilot by month now instead of pay as a service as opposed to buying the whole package. So
autopilot comes standard. It's the full self-driving you could pay for monthly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris, do you think you got the full the self-driving beta because you've had your car for so long? Like, you probably only paid like $5,000 for it when it first came out, right?
I think I got it because I'm a safe driver and I had a pretty high safety score. Despite, I'll just say there's more than one driver in this family that drives that car. I was driving the score up, and I'll say the other driver was driving it down. And despite that, I still maintained it high enough that they finally gave it to me. But it took like 8 months. It was a long time. So I don't think it had anything to do with how long I had it. I think it was solely driven by the safety score.
Why would you talk about Nick that way? Nico's only 3 years old.
It's all that drag racing he did in the car.
Leadfoot Grace is really the problem here. We finally got our score out of the 80s. It was like in the low 80s for a while. And we're at 95. But one of the crazy things is we have like anytime we pull into our driveway, it's like defensive mechanisms kicking in, is warning us. I'm like, dude, this is my house. Like, back off. So we have to use the blinker to pull into our driveway.
Yeah, in the Bay Area here, I think the thing, I'll speak about myself. The thing I personally got dinged for is following too close, and it's just because that's how people drive here in the Bay Area. Like, if you're not, less than one car length away from the car in front of you, no one's gonna let you in. Like, you have to be aggressive, or you're gonna get left in the dust. That's just Bay Area driving.
My freaking dad only had his car for a month, and he got the full self-driving beta.
Full self-driving?
So yeah, I think that's the trick. Is if everybody starts at 100, and then when you start doing dumb things, then it starts dropping. So if you can maintain that 100 and not do anything to drop your score for a certain period of time, then you can get it pretty quickly.
What score are you guys talking about? I've never seen this app on the Tesla.
It's on your mobile app. And for the record, my dad scares the absolute crap out of me. Anytime we go to Florida and we're like hanging out, I don't understand how he's still alive. Like, the dude is a maniac. like even my kids who like enjoy a good time, they're in the back praying, right? They got Bibles are open. They're like, oh my gosh, like today's the day we're gonna meet Jesus. We're dead. And I don't know how he did it. Maybe he was just like kind of like in the autopilot, or I have no idea how the way he drove a Ford Expedition versus how he's been driving his Tesla must be night and day difference. There's no way he's a safe driver.
So Glenn, to answer your question, you have to have the hardware 3.0. So you would have had to pay for the full self-driving upgrade to get the safety score.
Oh. Okay.
Do you have it? Is that on your phone?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's why you don't have it. You don't have the right hardware.
I'm good. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, need to be
95.
You paid for that?
A reminder of.
Man, I work with some really cool people. I must not be cool to have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're not cool.
I'm not. Far from cool.
All right. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, our guest Isaiah is up.
All right. You guys asked for that. So, first one here. Would you guys know who's the most lonely billionaire?
Who's that?
Most lonely what?
Who's the most lonely billionaire?
Oh.
Bill Gates.
It's Elon Musk.
Elon
Musk.
Elon Musk.
Wah, wah, wah.
Winner.
You asked for it. And one more. What is the scariest tree? What's the scariest tree?
The scariest tree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Time over. It's bamboo.
Bamboo.
That's a winner.
Winner.
Nice. All right, to wrap things up, Prime Day this year was uneventful yet again. Microsoft went back on their pledge to discontinue macros, and that's upsetting literally everybody. Don't sell cheap VoIP licenses unless you want to meet Johnny Law. PyPi is now mandating multi-factor authentication, which is being praised by everybody except one disgruntled developer. And you might be seeing ads on your phone's lock screen any day now. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us all on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to all our listeners and subscribers who rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. For my co-hosts Brian Deitch and Glenn Medina, and our guest Isaiah Talado, I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
Thanks, everybody.
Let's be real, Chris. Ain't nobody that takes security, correctly running an Android phone. I don't see it happening. There's not one listener out there that has an Android phone right now.